Hey, what's up, guys? Today we're going to talk about the Berkeley fights that happened 2 days ago. I know most other YouTubers already talked about it, so I'm kind of jumping on the bandwagon. I'm not denying I ever jump on bandwagons. I'm a small channel. I need to jump on bandwagons, but where was I going with this? Oh, yeah, but I had a unique interaction I want to explain, and the person who was replying to me generally had the opinion that most Americans have on this subject. So that's why I want to illustrate this in particular, because this is the mindset I'm trying to counter, because it's so dangerous to have. So, before we get started, tonight I am drinking Admiral Nelson's Black Patch Spiced Rum. It was on sale. I never tried it before, but it was on sale. I'm like, okay, fine. I haven't found a rum I like a lot, so I tried it. And I was afraid that, it was low quality rum. It wasn't on the, wasn't top shelf. And it was 47% alcohol, so I'm like, oh man, this is gonna taste so bad. But then when I drank it, it was the smoothest rum I've ever tasted. It didn't burn my throat at all. It has that nice, warm, fuzzy feeling in your stomach that rum gives you, so this stuff's good. Anyway, so all of the drama started 2 days ago. I tweeted, I love it when people who aren't at Berkeley automatically know who starts the violence every single time without fail. Hashtag Berkeley protest. So basically what I was trying to say is, people always say the other side starts the violence. Their own side, they're innocent. They never do this. We're the good guys. We don't start the violence. But the other side, they always do it every single time without fail. There are a number of reasons why this is stupid. One, people are not like robots that do the same thing every single time. You are creating a false reality where your side can literally never do this, never start violence. Every single human being in your organization, in your group, your side, is a perfect angel who never does anything wrong. And your opponents are the devil. They do the wrong thing every single time without fail. Things are never that black and white. The problem with these statements, 100%, every single time, never, every time, is that you only need one example to prove that that statement is incorrect. So, for example, lots of people were blaming Antifa, the anti-fascist, who actually act very fascist in their anti-fascism, but that's beside the point. Many of them started blaming them for the violence. To which I say, that is a perfectly plausible explanation that could perfectly happen because Antifa has been known to be violent and start violence. But what I was countering is that the other side, Trump supporters, have also been known to start violence. Just Google violence at Trump rallies. You will get dozens of results. Trump supporters are violent motherfuckers who are so pissed off at one thing or another, they feel violence is necessary. Violence is, violence necessary. They feel like violence is necessary. So what I'm saying is, it's possible that Antifa started the violence, but it's also possible that Trump supporters started the violence. Both have an incentive to lie. Both want to paint themselves as the good guy and the other person as a Nazi or a communist. So therefore they have incentive to lie, to create conditions, create narratives that we didn't start the violence, the other side did. That's all I'm saying. That is the entirety of this video. It's just a moderate, non-radical statement saying that any side in the political, social cleavage, religion, whatever, just whatever kind of group in society you're talking about, every single side has committed violence at one time or another. So therefore, logically and rationally, I know I keep on using these words, but they're just, if a side has committed violence in the past, then it is logically possible that they will do it again. Since every single group in the history of fucking mankind has done this, no side is angelic. No side is perfect. Every single side is possible to start violence. So what I'm saying is, that's all I was saying. Now this, I'll leave a link to all these tweets so you can look at them yourselves. So I have the evidence, I'm making shit up. So White, @ Gary Guys 18 replied to me and says, because it's always Antifa. Just those are his 4 words that he said in his tweet, because it's always Antifa. So all I have to do is point out one example where Trump supporters have started violence to show you that no, it's not always Antifa. Other sides do it too. And all you have to do is Google violence at Trump support rallies to see that I am correct. That yes, sometimes Trump supporters start violence on purpose. So therefore, in this Berkeley situation, it's possible that both sides started the violence. I don't know who's lying. I don't know who's telling the truth because I wasn't there. That's the thing of my tweet. There is no possible way that you could know every single time. Just ding, as soon as you hear violence between Antifa and Trump supporters, oh, it's Antifa. Yep, that's it. Yep. Without question, not looking to any of the circumstances, not interviewing any of the people, looking at no security camera footage, just none. It's just, I know. Antifa's the bad guys, I'm a Trump supporter, we're the good guys, so I know the other side did it. And I asked, how could you possibly have such an omnipresent ability as to possibly know that? Videos never show what happens right before. What I'm saying is, there are plenty of videos that show that Antifa started the violence. But the thing is, you can edit videos so easily. I know this is mind-blowing for you people, but people can edit videos to suit their narrative. A common tactic, if you want to show that the other side is starting the violence, what you do is you have your camera ready, it's not on record. You go up to someone, punch them, and immediately start recording right after you do it, and it shows, so the video starts with them coming at you, angry, mad, just trying to hit you in self-defense. But the people watching the video don't know that because you hit the record button after you started it. That is a completely plausible explanation for any situation. That's why I'm saying there is no way you could possibly know who started the fight first if you're not there, because that is such an easy tactic to do. Both sides have an incentive to lie. Both sides have an incentive to say, we didn't start the violence, the other side did. Therefore, I do not trust either of you. Because both of you have incentive to lie. Both of you have been proven to lie in the past. Trump supporters, Antifa, biggest motherfucking liars on the goddamn planet. Trump supporters live in alternate reality. I criticize Trump every like 3 or 4 videos, how his supporters and Trump himself are just completely batshit crazy. So then he replies, Antifa has been known to always start violence. They constantly brag about it with their punch Nazi, aka punch people we don't disagree with. I said, yes, they have. I'm not denying that. Once again, you are putting words in my mouth. I never said that's not the case. I never said that Antifa is not violent. So my tweet back to him was, yes, they have. But so have Trump supporters. Both sides have started violence, which empirically is true because you can look up videos on Google. How do you not know how to do a Google search? How do you not know how to search on YouTube? It's so fucking easy, but these people who think like him, he's not the only one who thinks like this, people who think like him just are oblivious to anything that contradicts their narrative. Yet, it can be pulled up. The sum of mankind's knowledge can be pulled up at your fingertips with anyone with internet access, and most Americans have internet access. A good chunk of the world's population has internet access, so just to remain this fucking ignorant in a time where you can access almost the entirety of mankind's knowledge at the tip of your fingertips at the push of a button, I know he's lying. There's no way you can't know that. There's no way you could go through the election cycle of 2016 and not know that Trump supporters are violent. And then he replies back, Trump supporters only usually use violence against people like Antifa. Antifa are violent towards anyone with differing opinions. I straight up call him a liar. Liar. There have been Trump supporters on camera attacking peaceful protesters at rallies. Peaceful protesters, not Antifa. So this is the second statement. This is the second statement that he makes. First one, he says that Antifa always starts the violence. No one else does. Only them. They do it every single time. That statement is proven correct. His second statement, Trump supporters only use violence towards people like Antifa, which again, can be empirically, objectively proven false if he would just do the Google search. Just do the YouTube search. Violence at Trump rallies. He will get all the proof he needs to show why his second statement is also fucking incorrect. And I said, I'm not denying that Antifa sometimes starts violence, but to say that every single time it is them, that is a lie. Because again, I keep on going back to this. Just do the Google search. Just Shia LaBeouf, just do it. Do the Google search so you won't be a fucking retard. So after that last tweet, he tweeted back, it's not. They are a domestic terrorist group and nothing more. It's what they do to stop defending them. That's, first of all, it's not even coherent English, but I'm just like, Again, this goes to my original question. How could you have omnipresent, godlike power to possibly know that it's Antifa every single time? He replies back, that's what terrorists do. He has such a simple way of looking at the world. People are drones. They automatically act just like the group that they are in. So Muslims always do this every single time. White people do this every single time. Antifa does this every single time. That is his simplistic way of looking at the world. That's how he understands the world. That's how he comes to the conclusion it's Antifa every single time, because he knows that Antifa always starts the violence and no one else ever does. So therefore, if it's two sides fighting against each other and one of them is Antifa, it has to be them. Now, disclaimer, we're several minutes in this video. I have made a disclaimer for this. I hate Antifa. I hate communists. I hate socialism. I hate everything that Antifa stands for. But yet, why am I doing this rant defending them? Well, I'm not defending them as am I defending an ideal. That's just like, just because I am against Antifa doesn't mean I will lie about them. I am better than this motherfucker who thinks that Antifa is the enemy. Therefore, I can make up whatever shit I want against them, and it's validated because they're a domestic terrorist group. It's because they always start violence. That's how you justify oppressive behavior towards people. Because they always do that. That's just what they do. So we have to be violent towards them. That justification has been used to oppress millions of people throughout the years, throughout human history. It's such a simplistic way of looking at the world that people are not agents, free agents, be able to act the way they want to at any given time. No, they're drones. If you are socialist, then you do A, B, C, D every single time without fail. It's a child's way of looking at the world. And whenever you have to ignore examples that prove your statement false. Again, with these 100%, always, never, every single time, all you need is one example to prove that your statement is incorrect. And when I show people this one example, they just come up with some excuse, or they ignore it, or they say, well, let's take it out of context. Everything out of my worldview is wrong. And when you close in your worldview so much, that's how you come up with extremism. That's how you come up with radicalism. Because you ignore everything except these few tiny little points that you believe at like the 4th grade level. So then, at this point, I got pissed off because he is just, first of all, not representing my argument correctly. Second of all, having elementary school kids' way of looking at the world. Just completely dodging every single one of my points and coming up with just never answering any of my questions. Pulling up straw mans, twisting my words, just consistently throughout this argument. And I said, you're so fucking dumb. All you do is call your opponents terrorists, so everything they do is automatically wrong without question. That is such a retarded way of looking at the world. You know, everyone that's against me, they're terrorists. And therefore, they can't do anything right. Therefore, we can do whatever we want against them. You know, this is how extremism is bred. This is how people like Osama bin Laden can look at Americans and like, America is my enemy. I can do whatever I want to them and still be justified because I twisted the first out of context and blah, 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 and historical oppression. And that's why he is perfectly fine with slamming planes in the World Trade Center and the Pentagon and Pennsylvania. You gotta mention all of them. And he thinks that's totally justified because us Americans, us Christians, I'm not Christian, but Christians, all act the same way every single time. We're drones. We can't think for themselves. All we do is fight against Islam. And that is how he comes up with justification. So this guy is using the same logic. Antifa, communist and socialist, whatever, they're terrorists. We can do whatever we want to them. We can lie about them. It's justified. And they can't do anything. They can't use violence in self-defense. No, that's not allowed. They're terrorists. Why are you supporting terrorism? Why are you saying that terrorists have the right to self-defense? Well, you know, terrorists are human beings too. These people are Americans, no matter what the political views, and therefore they are owed inalienable rights. And I know that contradicts your simplistic worldview that you want to perpetrate here. But, you know, I'm a mature person. I can look at someone like Antifa, who I fundamentally disagree with almost every single one of their tenets, and say, you are still a human being. You are still an American. Therefore, you still have rights. I will defend your right for freedom of speech to say things that I disagree with. I will support your right to use violence to defend yourself, even though I don't agree with you, because that is what America is all about. People of different social groups, different political ideologies, different ethnic groups, different religions, all defending each other in the name of freedom of speech, right to bear arms, right to privacy, whatever. So then after that he tweeted back, "You call me dumb, yet you're the one who resorts to insults because you have nothing else smart to say." Yeah, I'm the one who doesn't have smart things to say when you're the one who says, well, that's what terrorists do. Just throwing everything out the window. That's what terrorists do. Oh, it's always Antifa. Even though I can look up evidence to prove that I'm wrong, but excuse me, that doesn't matter. Yeah, I'm the one saying dumb things. He follows up, everything Antifa does is wrong. That's why only idiots support them. Everything they do is wrong. Every single thing that this person, Antifa, does is wrong. That's how his simplistic, narrow-minded worldview is. I constantly bring up the example that Osama bin Laden, one of the worst terrorists to ever exist, he also ran social programs and food pantry programs. And people see that as me defending Osama bin Laden. I'm like, no, I'm not. No, just stop strawmanning me. Stop putting words in my mouth. I never said I support Osama bin Laden. All I am doing is looking up on the internet. It is a well-known fact, it has been documented, that the Taliban do these services to people. That is all I am saying. I'm just pointing out the truth. I'm not saying that his terrorism is justified because he does other good things. That's all. No, I'm not saying that. That's all I'm saying is that he did A, B, C, O, and D too. He did these actions. I'm not passing judgment on it. I'm not saying it excuses his terrorism. All I'm saying is that this horrible, evil man did good things on the side. That's all I am saying. People are not 100% evil. No, they're never like that. It's such a simplistic way of looking at things. People around the world go out in the daytime, commit terrorist activity, come home, and then run a food pantry for the homeless in their town. Yes, that happens. Yes, I know that means the world is more complex than you think, but that's fucking reality. Then I said, wrong. They have rights just like you and me. Not everything they do is wrong. The world is not that black and white. I follow up, when anyone starts violence against them, you justify it with they're terrorists, so it's okay to attack them. So then I say, Trump supporters have caused violence just like Antifa. So when they fight, it is possible that either side started it. We just don't know. And he prods back with, they haven't caused nearly as much violence. If you've yet to prove otherwise, look through my tweets. I never said anything about the amount of violence that Antifa and Trump supporters cause. He is putting words in my mouth throughout this entire argument, straw-manning me, saying, you said this, you said this, you said that. And I just continuously, throughout my tweets, I'm just like, dude, you have no idea what you're talking about. If I gave you $1 million to accurately represent my argument, you couldn't do it. Because every single tweet, when you say I said something, I didn't say. I never said Antifa never started violence. I never said that Antifa causes more or less violence than Trump supporters. I flat out never fucking said this. This guy's comprehension ability, reading comprehension, is just beyond ludicrous retardation. He just literally cannot look at the sentence I write, I tweet, and represent it accurately. He always twists what I say every single time. That's the entirety of this rant. This was kind of a long rant, but I think it's important because if we devolve into always looking at our side as the good side and every single other side as terrorists who don't deserve rights, who don't deserve freedom of speech, who can't defend themselves against violence, then that's how we get the Osama bin Ladens of the world. That's how we get the George Bushes of the world, who doesn't give a flaming fuck about just bombing hundreds of thousands of Muslim civilians across various wars and just saying, well, it's for our safety. They're Muslims. It's okay if we do it. The double standards these people have. It's okay for Trump supporters to use violence against Antifa, but Antifa can't use violence against Trump supporters. This is the dangerous extremism and radicalization that I constantly am fighting against in my videos, because I see these statements that people make throughout society, and they are so fucking batshit crazy, but they don't realize that it's batshit crazy because the vast majority of society agrees with them. The vast majority of Americans are radical extremists on one side or the other. That's why I rail against the NDA and the Patriot Act, because what the essence of the bill is saying is, if you just call them terrorists, then you can just tear up the Bill of Rights, tear up the Constitution. Americans don't have any of these rights if you call them a terrorist. That leads to repressive behavior. That leads to people getting their lives ruined and people killed, and that's what I'm trying to fight against. Summary, 15 seconds. Well, I'll try to make it 15 seconds. Just because a person disagrees with you politically doesn't mean that they are terrorists. I mean, it's just, I feel like I'm talking to a second grader. Like I'm talking down at people, saying that no, just because people think differently than you doesn't mean they're terrorists. It doesn't mean that all the rights go out the window. You can do whatever you want to them. You can lie about them, and that's justifiable. No, just stop with this mentality.